Hello again, YouTube. Thank you for tuning in to another installment of The Light. Now, I want to thank you all again. As I've said, I couldn't do this without you. I couldn't grow this channel without you folks subscribing and giving me feedback. And, I'm so excited to see it grow. I'm really happy to have you people here helping build this community, and I'm quite happy to be reporting on the news and information that I have been able to report. So thank you folks for supporting me and this channel. Today in the news, we've got a lot going on. Now, yesterday in the stock market, things were going very, very, very poorly. In fact, the stock market took a huge hit. Trillions of dollars were wiped out of the global economy after President Trump tweeted about more trade war escalation with China. The major indexes in the United States were down close to 3%. It was a very, very, very bad day in the stock market. And this just goes to show how these people at the top, people who, can pull the levers of power, have a little bit too much power. They can wipe trillions out of the global economy. They can completely change the economic dynamics of the world with a tweet, and completely affect the lives of millions of people who are really at the behest of these individuals at the seats of power. It's a little bit scary, but we're doing all right. We see the stock market rebounding today pretty solidly. Things are going rather well, and even with the trade war and other global issues, I see great things for the industrial hemp industry and for cannabis, really, no matter what happens. But we hope for the best. We hope for peace, and we hope for good economic tidings here at The Light. So I'm hoping to see a little less of this. There's a lot of doubt and a lot of worry. This is really testing the nerves of investors, especially as U.S. growth is kind of in question right now. However, if a deal can be worked out in trade, things will be incredible, and we might see the stock market take another huge leg up. But this is going to take some real negotiating, and China's prepared to just wait us out. They can wait out countries for hundreds and hundreds of years. That's been their historical strategy. It's what they've always done. They've waited out the wars in Europe and all kinds of things while they continue to do their thing, and they have grown and grown and grown to the immense size that China is today. So this hardball approach is rather risky, but I do see a lot of hope for a trade deal being worked out. I'm very hopeful. Now, we also see Bayer, Monsanto, just getting pounded with lawsuits. A $2 billion verdict last week, forcing them to pay up for the cancer-causing agents in Roundup, these glyphosate compounds that are being shown to cause non-Hodgkin's lymphoma and other forms of cancer in people who would not have it at all. Exposure to these chemicals is awful, and this company, as I will explain in the video linked right here, has a very dark history. Monsanto actually created Agent Orange, which was used to devastate Vietnam, and that's really the first edition of what is now dicamba, Roundup, and all that. And Bayer, the company that purchased Monsanto, and which is now building out a monopoly on the global food supply and on seeds in general, Bayer actually was a German company which constructed, owned, and operated Auschwitz during the Holocaust. So really they, operated the most horrible and most despicable facility in the entire Holocaust. This company is responsible for one of the most heinous things in the entire Holocaust and the deaths of so many people. So it's good to see Bayer being beaten up now with over 13,000 lawsuits hitting them over this Roundup glyphosate cancer issue. Over 13,000 lawsuits are going to continue to hit them like the stings of a hive of bees. And we're seeing Bayer taking hits as their stock drops over the last few months, it has dropped significantly, now into the $15 to $16 range from the 20s not too long ago. Now, this shows how the will of the people and, the capitalist system can really actually do good things, and how it can reflect in the stock market. When people are pissed off, they're not going to invest in companies that are hurting them, and people can take action and speak with their pocketbooks. I love it. So big things are happening. We're seeing that kind of development happen as people are also waking up. We see cannabis legalization everywhere, and 2019 looks to be the year of industrial hemp, with more hemp being cultivated than ever before. It's being cultivated all around the world, and now in the US, in states even in Alabama, in Oklahoma soon, in states all over the US. We're seeing so many licenses, more licenses than ever. So there will be so much cannabis grown, and most of it's going to be CBD rich industrial hemp. Really, it's just incredible. We see this kind of great awakening. We see people waking up to the evils of Bayer, Monsanto, these cancer-causing agents, the pesticides, the issues with genetically modified foods. People are waking up. And on top of all of this, in the year of hemp, we also see the city of Denver, Colorado, where I'm at right now, decriminalizing magic mushrooms. So this doesn't mean that it's fully legalized, but it's now the lowest criminal priority. So psilocybin, or psychedelic magic mushrooms, is now decriminalized in Denver, which really paves the way for research for treatments to things like psychological disorders, specifically PTSD. They're finding that these mushrooms can certainly be used to treat things like PTSD quite effectively, using microdosing, and as with everything, in moderation. These botanical, plant-based, or in this case spore-based treatments are incredibly effective and can replace these kind of nasty and expensive pharmaceuticals. So this is really impressive, and I'll link you to an article by Wired talking about how Denver has done this. And I'm proud of the city. It's not to say that mushrooms are quite as important to the world as cannabis, but it's good to see this decriminalization, as we also have seen in 2018 kind of decriminalization and legalization and regulation of cannabis. But we saw the First Step Act really decriminalizing it and opening up the cases for people who had committed nonviolent weed-related crimes to basically be expunged and to be freed of prison. People who had committed nonviolent crimes, related to cannabis. So the First Step Act really changed the way that we're dealing with cannabis and people who are involved in these crimes, and that's good, as we see that being the First Step Act, and now being followed up with decriminalization of mushrooms in Denver. I think big things are going to follow as people awaken worldwide, as hemp is becoming legal, and as we're really rediscovering these wonderful, ancient, useful plants and medicinal compounds in just natural things that grow around us. It's incredible stuff. I'm proud of the city of Denver for taking that initiative. It might seem crazy to people, but we're going to find great usefulness in these mushrooms as well. It's going to become wonderful, and we see so many next level treatments coming out, like the CBD gel with Zynerba Pharmaceuticals. So many things that are derived from cannabis actually now coming out. So we have these next level treatments. Quality of life is increasing. Mushrooms even are becoming legal, and that's going to produce more next level treatments. And it's just fantastic as the world kind of wakes up to this. We're going to be able to reap the benefits of the industrial hemp revolution as well. And, hemp can save the world. I mean, you're sequestering carbon from the atmosphere. You can turn it to, manufactured goods. You can turn it into fibers. You can turn it to plastics, the medicines, of course. But you can also get great nutritional foods from hemp arts. It's actually one of the best things you could possibly eat in the whole world, and you could eat purely only hemp hearts and drink water and actually have a healthy diet with all the proteins and aminos that you need to survive. It's incredible. And also, little known fact, but you can turn hemp into a car, and you can turn it into biofuel that the car would run on. The first car that Henry Ford designed, the prototype Model T, was actually run on hemp fuel, and it was a hemp built car. So over 100 years ago, before the prohibition of hemp, Henry Ford built this car out of a lot of hemp composite material. It ran on hemp biofuel, and this just goes to show the utility of hemp, the necessity of hemp. It can be turned into a food. You know, hemp hearts are wonderful nutrition, but there are so many other uses that we aren't even considering beyond even the medicine. The industrial purposes of it are just incredible, and we see this awakening, this kind of change and shift in the global economic dynamics. New things unfolding as cryptocurrency is on the rise, and as widespread hemp cultivation takes off worldwide. We're seeing big things happen, and really in the US, we're gonna be able to transition from this fossil fuels carbon economy toward a hemp-based carbon economy, and hemp truly can save the world. This is the real Green New Deal, and I'm excited to see it happen. I'm excited to be reporting on it to you folks, and once again, I wanna thank you for tuning into The Light. If you haven't subscribed to my channel, please do it right now, and also leave me a like and a comment on the video. I really need your feedback. I appreciate it so much. I do read and listen to it as well. And also go check out the Southern Sinners and enjoy this wonderful music, people. Now I gotta go, but until next time, much love, and I will see you then.